Yeah, Bill, stop. Just stop. Because the alternative is not winning the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. What a problem to have. We've got Mark Dominic here along with Phil Yates talking about these questions that the Patriots are facing. All right, when we talk about these free agents right now on the roster we just showed, if you're New England, who do you have to lock up for 2017?
Yeah, I think when you look at that list, you want to look at the guys they've drafted because that's part of their culture of what they want to bring in there. And clearly, to me, Dante Hightower stands out as a guy, a trendsetter, really the leader of that defense who you just have to put back under contract. So it's going to start with him. He's got to be the one that they're going to really want to focus on to get the defense set, to be the leader that they've always wanted. I think Dante Hightower certainly is going to be a guy that they want to bring in. You know, then I'd say the other one that I look at when I look at that list, cornerbacks, you have to have them. You know, and obviously Malcolm Butler is restricted, but Logan Ryan's the other one. A very smart, versatile football player that they can move all over the football field. I think those two draft picks are clearly the two front runners for me on this franchise that need to get re-upped.
And you talk about success long term, it's always about the defense. It has been for Bill Belichick for quite some time, and you got to have the right players in the right situation. So with that being said, Phil, because Mark just brought up Malcolm Butler being a restricted free agent, in the current market we have right now, what kind of contract do these guys get typically?
Well, it depends on what kind of tender the team that has the rights to that player places on it. So for the Patriots, if they use either a first or second round tender, and I'd say the first round tender makes the most sense for Malcolm Butler, that probably means he's hands off for every other team, because if you were to sign him to an offer sheet and the Patriots were to decline it, you then have to send your 2017 first round draft pick to New England in exchange to acquire Malcolm Butler, which is probably a price too steep for most teams to pay. I'd imagine the most likely scenario is that the Patriots use a first round tender on Malcolm Butler and then try to talk extension for a player that has clearly become a cornerstone for them.
And just remember, to Field's point, he's absolutely correct. But the club always has the right to match whatever offer is written. And that's why you don't see this movement very much, because you're having everybody else do your work for you if you're doing it. You're like, yeah, okay, we like that deal. We'll take it or not. So that's why you see very little movement in the restricted free agent market.
Other teams set the price, and you agree to take it on your books. Rob Gronkowski, what's up with him?
Well, listen, this is the player that arguably is the Patriots' second best player. And the Patriots went 8-0 without Gronk after he was placed on IR, winning by more than 17 points per game. We know, though, that he had back surgery. We know he is the preeminent difference maker at the tight end position when he is fully healthy. So obviously his status and his recovery is a major storyline for this team as we get closer to the start of the offseason workout program, eventually OTAs and mini camps. The Patriots expect him to be back at full force. He's still got multiple years left on the extension he signed, 2 years into his NFL career. And when fully healthy, again, it's worth repeating, there is no player in football that is an equal one-on-one matchup for Rob Gronkowski on defense.
Yeah, that may even be an understatement as it stands right now. All right, let's talk about the other team that was in the Super Bowl. Of course, that's the Falcons. They have $40 million less in cap room than the Patriots have right now, but virtually every key contributor still under contract. Biggest name they'll have to negotiate, though, Taylor Gabriel, who's tied for the team lead with 6 touchdown catches. He's a restricted free agent as well. Mark, what do you think the Falcons will be looking to add this season so they can keep this run of going to the playoffs?
Yeah, the nice thing with Gabriel is it just takes a restricted tag and you're done, so you can move on to other things. And when I look at the Atlanta Falcons and I think of Dan Quinn and what they've been able to do, Thomas Dimitroff, Scott Pioli, and that whole crew have been able to bring speed to this football team and pass rushers. You know, you obviously have Vic Beasley, who's had a tremendous sophomore season, but you need to continue to add that. If you want to be this Seattle defense, but you want to be your Atlanta version of it, it's always about getting more pass rushers and more speed, more corners on the perimeter.
Phil, what's your take on this free agent market?
Well, there are some names that could become available in terms of pass rushers. Obviously, I would say the top one would be Chandler Jones, the former Patriot, now is Arizona Cardinal, but he'll probably get the franchise tag. Some of the other names of note, if Atlanta were to dip its toe into the free agent market for a pass rusher, include Jason Pierre-Paul, currently of the New York Giants, Jabal Sheard, currently of the New England Patriots. Those are a couple of the names that come to mind. But as we know, Michael, on the open market, pass rushers get paid, and they get paid in a major way. Atlanta might be more focused on retaining the core that they have and extending some of their guys that are eligible for an extension rather than spending big bucks on the open market to add a preeminent free agent as a pass rusher. They might explore the draft for that priority.
Yeah, just don't have the money that they would probably like to have to go out and sign a bunch of guys. But, hey, they got to the Super Bowl. They're doing okay. Mark, Field, as always, appreciate the time.